lesson 1-4 today. And so this is the example we're going to look at. It says estimate and classify the extrema for the graph of f of x. When I think of extrema, I think of high points or low points. Okay, so extrema, we have two classifications of extrema. Oops, I guess I used the lavender today. Extrema, we have the highest point and we have the lowest point. Oh, there we go. We call the highest point a maximum. We call the lowest point a minimum. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at graphs and we're going to determine what those are. And so visually, you can see I have both a high point and a low point in this graph. I have a point right here, the high point, and I have a low point. Now the low point, it's pretty easy to see what that is, isn't it?
-1.
-1. Oh, well, actually it's 1, -1. So I have a minimum at 1, -1, right? Now the maximum, do I know what the maximum is? It's kind of tough to see, right? So I want you to go ahead and graph this on your graphing calculator right now for me. I want you to graph x cubed minus x squared. And I'm going to show you a way that the calculator will do this for you. Now, why don't you graph it in the z decimal window? So remember how we do that? We go to zoom z decimal, which is the fourth one. Now you should get a little better view of this than we do up here on the screen. And so now what I want to do is I want to find exactly what that high point is. And it looks like it's somewhere between 0 and -1/2. So in order to find the high point, this is what you're going to do. You're going to go to second, and then you're going to hit trace. Okay? Second, and then the trace button. Now, if I look there, what am I trying to find?
Maximum.
A maximum, which is number 4. So now it's going to ask you for a left bound. So you need to use your left and right arrow keys to go left of the high point on the graph. Okay, so I stopped at like -0.5 or -0.6. So just use your left arrow to go somewhere to the left of that. Then hit enter. Now it asks you for right bound. So you're going to move your cursor so that you're to the right of that high point. So like in this case, I've got -0.1. Then it's going to ask you to guess. Whenever you see guess, you press enter. Okay, so where's the maximum actually at? The maximum is at, so let's think, it says -0.33333, right? Which we know is what? -1/3. And then it's at 0.185, repeating. Or at least that's what I have. Is that what you got? Okay. Now usually I don't let you mix decimals and fractions, but in this case I will. So we could do the same thing with minimum if we wanted, but we already know where the minimum is. We can visually see it, but we could do that as well. We would just select minimum instead of maximum. Questions? Okay, so let's look at this one. Okay, so let's go ahead and graph that. So we have -x⁴ minus x cubed plus 3x² plus 2x. Now, what do we notice here? In our graph.
There's 2 high points.
Yeah, there's 2 high points. So the question is, which one do you go with? You go with the highest one. Now, sometimes they'll ask you to find both. Okay, for what I want you to do, I just want you to find the highest one. So we're looking right here. So, a maximum. So go ahead and go through the steps again. Remember where we go. We go through second, trace, and then number 4. What'd you get?
X is 1.076
Okay.
and Y is 3.039.
Okay. All right. So let's go through to find the minimum. Okay. So go through the same steps to find the minimum. Oops, that was a good at sign. So second trace minimum.
So just gonna go with the flow here. You go into the left of the lowest point, so if you're looking up this way then up this way from here. And you push enter and it'll ask you for the right bound. And it's just like similar to the right of the lowest point, okay? And you click enter again and you guess. I go to the lowest point. No, I guess
What? All right. Minimum. What do we get? Negative point.
306.
Yep. And the y value.
Negative 3, 1, 1.
Good. Okay. So let's look at the bottom one right here. X to the fifth minus 2x to the fourth minus 2x cubed plus 3x squared. Okay, so now obviously you're not going to fit it in the z decimal window, you can see. So this is one that you're probably want to zoom out to z standard. Okay.
So how was that? You're doing fine.
Well, because for that last one. So now the maximum, right here. Let's locate what we think it is. Okay, maximum.
I remember how to do it.
So trace.
Maximum?
What do we get for our maximum then?
I do push enter on the left bound.
Yes. You have to go to the left of the high point. Stop.
I hate that song. Now, ever since Mr. King sang it, and
Negative
I
0.958.
some blame,
And then what's the y value? 2.020. Okay, the minimum, right here. Let's find what the minimum is.
1.90.
Ooh, you already got that one?
Yeah, fast.
Okay.
I just
You did the minimum first? 1 point what?
90.
Okay. I have 899. Is that close enough to what you have?
That's how I just rounded it
Okay,
up.
and then what?
And then negative 4.1.
Okay, negative 4.191. Okay, so that's how you can find the minimum and the maximum using your graphing calculator. Okay, so those are the exact values. So let's go ahead and look at the next one. It says approximate to the nearest hundredth the relative or absolute extrema of f of x equals negative 4x cubed minus 8x squared plus 9x minus 4. So this is going to be the exact same thing we looked at except for there's no graph for you to refer to. Okay? So what I'm going to do is split the class in half. This half I want you to find the maximum. This half I want you to find the minimum. Now when it talks about relative and absolute extrema, there is a difference between the two. We're not going to get into that. That's actually something that we talk about in calculus. We're just actually going to find just the extreme values.
We're supposed to find the minimum?
You guys are supposed to find the minimum, yes.
How do you get that fast? Yeah. That's like too far down to graph this.
Okay, go to.
Then what you can do, for your minimum, it's too far low. So what you can do is go to window, change your Y min to -30.
You see what she's doing? Okay.
Oh,
this is
you even
the
need to go
whole
further.
thing.
No, that should be good.
So
What
change
if
the
it's an
X
error
minimum
syntax
to-
switch or
Then you haven't used the negative sign correctly. You've used prior subtraction sign.
so what do I do?
You gotta change it.
Crap.
Like how do I get out of this error screen?
Click go to,
Are you changing?
and it's gonna
Only
show
change
you.
the X maximum, X minimum, and the Y minimum.
There.
Okay,
Oh.
got it now. Yeah, be sure you put your next.
Okay, now what I actually had to do in this one, guys, in order for the window, I had to go to window, and I had to change the Y min to -30. The Y max stayed at 10, and then the Y scale I changed to 2. Okay, so do we have a max value yet? Okay. Do we have a minimum value yet?
Yes.
What's the minimum value?
Negative
1.75.
I think it's 27.6.
760, and then what?
Y is negative 22.8.
814.
Mine is so much graphing.
Okay, so
I just want to.
max.
We just figured out the window. Don't change it.
Oh, you wouldn't even need the window because your max is in there fine.
So we can calculator go back to normal after this. 5. Just got 5.
You said that's fine. Go ahead. Find your max.
So we can see the whole graph.
Max? Tons.
Seeing something like Spanish.
I don't know. I don't know.
This.
Okay, so
Can you please?
point what?
I don't know.
Stop. Point 4?
You said it.
Yeah, perfect.
Oh, of course.
So point 426, and then what?
What do you need?
Yep. Now, depending on what you used for your left band and right band, you could be off by like 1,000th or 2. So if you got like 0.4255 or if you got 0.425, you're still correct. If on this one you got like negative 1.926, you're still correct. You just might be off a little bit. But that is your maximum values. Okay? So let's go ahead and look at the next thing. Here's another one. Min and max. So let's go ahead and graph this. 7 minus 5x minus 6x squared. What do you already know this is going to be?
You.
I just pushed
Upside down U.
It's gonna be an upside down.
An upside down U.
Good.
Okay? So an upside down U means you're only going to have what?
A maximum.
A maximum. So let's find what the maximum is at. How'd you know there's only one? Because what? Well, because this is an x squared is the highest power. And remember, an x squared is a parabola. It either opens up or down. How they knew it opens down is if you remember a negative in front of that is a frown. Your
I just
negative.
put it in my calculator and told her what it is.
But yeah, we did learn it before. So let's find the maximum.
Negative 0.42.
No, like, how do you get it back to something that's negative 36?
How that actually. Same with Louise.
So what was the maximum at? Negative point what?
416.
So 0.417 and the what? Hey, come on, let's go, pay attention. All right, what was the
8.04.
8.04? There you go. So that's your maximum.
We always decide it to 3 decimal places.
I want you to go to 3 decimal places.
It has to be sig figs.
I just like you to go to 3. So anyway, okay. The last thing we're going to discuss today is the average rate of change. So what you need to do is get down at the bottom of the page that formula. Okay, the average rate of change. basically is the change between any 2 points. And that's what this x2 and x1 refer to. The average rate of change is the change between any 2 points. Oops. Okay, x1 and x2 are what you're actually going to use. I'll get that out of your way though so you can. So now basically what f of x2 is nothing more than y sub 2. F of x1 is nothing more than y sub 1. So basically if this was 2 points, which we have up here, x1, y1, and this was my other point, x2, y2, all I'm finding is the slope between those 2 points.
Didn't we learn something like this last year or 2 years ago?
Yeah, this is slope. That's all it is. The slope of the secant line, it's y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. It's just in a little different view. Yep. So it's the average rate of change. So let's go ahead and look at an example then of that. Okay? So an example of that says find the average rate of change of f of x equals negative x cubed plus 3x on each interval. So now real quick, they're telling you that negative 2 is x1 and negative 1 is x2. So what I need to do is find those corresponding y values. Okay. So if negative 2 is x1, I'm going to plug in negative 2 into the equation. So then now if I calculate that, I end up getting
Why don't we use negative 8 minus 6?
the negative of negative 8 minus 6, which is really 8 minus 6, which is 2. So my ordered pair is negative 2, 2. That is my first ordered pair. Okay? Now I'm going to have to do the exact same thing with the negative 1. Yep. You've got to find the corresponding y value. So I'm going to do f of negative 1 right here. So it'll be the negative of negative 1 cubed plus 3 times negative 1. Okay.
Did you get that negative 2 on the first one?
That's the very first number we started with. So I've got the negative of negative 1 plus negative 3. So what does that come out to be? Negative 2. So this ordered pair is negative 1, negative 2. So now what I'm going to do now is find the slope between those 2 points, and that's it. Okay. I know that the slope is going to be negative 2 minus 2 over negative 1 minus negative 2. Okay. Negative 4 over 1, so my average rate of change is negative 4.
What just happened?
Okay.
You simplified the problem.
Yep.
Which is all that needs to be.
So we're going to go ahead and we've got the same 2 points, 0 and 1, that we're going to look at. And we're going to go through the exact same steps.
How did you get negative 2 minus 2?
Because I took the yellow minus the yellow.
For the same equation on the top?
Yep, for the same equation on the top. So what I'm going to do is f of 0, which is negative 0 cubed plus 3 times 0. So what do you get when you add those? 0. So it goes through the point 0, 0. Now what do you have to do next?
Sub in the 1.
Sub in the 1. So you get f of 1. And I get negative 1 cubed plus 3 times 1, which is what? 2. So what's the point that it goes through?
1, 2.
1, 2. So now, what do you do with those 2 points?
Take 2 minus 0 and 1 minus 0.
Right, so basically you find the slope between those 2 points, correct? So the slope equals 2 minus 0 over 1 minus 0. So your slope is 2 over 1, which is 2, also known as the average rate of change.
Will it always be a whole number?
Probably not. Okay, it doesn't have to be a whole number. So that's the average rate of change. Okay. So, perfect. Let's go ahead and look at the next one. So this is what I want you to do. I want you guys to find for me what is the ordered pair that goes with 2. I want you guys to find with me what is the ordered pair that goes with 3. Okay? So, that first half you find what f of 2 is. That group you find what f of 3 is, and then we'll subtract them. So, f of 2, and then f of 3.
Are we finding it?
Yep, you guys are finding f of 2 for me, and then you guys are finding f of 3. Yep, is that what you said? You said the right answer. Yep, good. So this ordered pair is 3, 2. Nice job.
I got 2 negative 4.
What'd you get?
2 negative 4.
So you got negative 4.
Yeah.
So this is our ordered pair. What do I do with those then? Right, so now I'm going to find the slope between those. So 2 minus negative 4 over 3 minus 2.
I did that wrong.
Okay, what does that come out to be?
6 over 1.
6 over 1, which is
6.
6. So the average rate of change is 6. Alrighty, yesterday I believe I gave you the entire assignment. Okay, so you should be able to finish it now. Okay?
Put that in the calculator.